Hey everybody, super happy to have your attention to share with you some of the major updates that are in the recent update in SoundSelf. There are two major things we're going to be talking about. Firstly, more content. Now we're going to be adding content more regularly now because we've actually invested a lot of energy into the whole back end of SoundSelf that allows us to generate content for you on a more regular basis. So we're super looking forward to doing that. And we have a lot more sessions coming out. And I'll give you a little clue about some of those coming out at the end of this video. But firstly, when you open your SoundSelf program, it's going to look the same as what you're used to, except the Sonoflore sequence, that's the new name of skills training. That's your 40-minute sequences that you're used to. But we also have two new ones here. So albums, this is the first time we have released non-interactive content. It is just lights and music. Just lie back and enjoy. This is music designed by SoundSelf's audio director, Lorna Dune. It's designed for use with vibroacoustics as well. So we have a 40-minute album and a 60-minute album, and we're going to be adding more. Now, this is the one that I've been very excited to share. We have these adjunctive sessions now. These have been designed with feedback from our practitioners, and they're specifically designed to work adjunctively with another primary intervention. So what does that mean? That means that you might have a patient or a client undergoing some passive treatment like ketamine or like acupuncture, something like that, and you want to have them sensorially engaged or somatically engaged while they're going through that. So you have them in SoundSelf, having a SoundSelf experience while also receiving the other intervention. This is fantastic for treatments where either you want a person to be distracted, let's say, from some discomfort in the primary treatment, or if you want them to be very opened up psychologically for whatever that first intervention is. So this works exquisitely with ketamine and psychedelics. And that brings me to this single stage, dual stage. Single stage is a 40-minute SoundSelf session. It has very little voiceover so that the client can focus on the whole experience without being distracted by the voiceover guidance. But we have this dual stage here. Now, this works with any number of primary interventions, but it was specifically designed for Spravato. And that's because we learned from our Spravato practices that we really want to have the patient engaged for the full 2-hour REMS window, and that there's a 40-minute vitals check, and we don't want to be disturbing the patient through that. So this is a 1 hour and 40-minute SoundSelf experience with a break 40 minutes through. So what does that mean? That means that your patient gets to experience SoundSelf for 40 minutes, and then there's a break for the vitals check, and then it goes into a 60-minute album. Or you can invert it, start with a 40-minute piece of music, and then move into a 40-minute SoundSelf sequence, which makes the total duration an hour 20. But it works either way, and it's designed to deepen and amplify the psychospiritual effects of the dissociative of Spravato or ketamine. But like I said, this works with any number of different interventions. I really recommend you try this out. We are super proud of this, and it's working very, very, very well with the practices that we're working with. So the activation and the adjunctive treatments, those both require the Evolution subscription. You can get that here by pressing the Get Evolution button. So now let me get into the next thing that I'm really, really excited to share with you. We have invested a lot of time and attention into the user experience and the user interface of SoundSelf to make it much easier for you and your colleagues to work through, and also to just make it more beautiful to look at. So this is going to load here. There we go. Made with Unity. Thank you to our friends at Unity. All right, so this is what you'll see at the beginning of the experience. No longer any of that boring alpha-looking black background. We have this very beautiful set sequence, and it's designed to bring you through, to start by bringing you through calibrating to the user. So every session begins like this. This is super important because every user, every client is different, and we really want to make sure that we get the levels of the vibration, the levels of the music, the levels of the lights, all set to a happy level for this client. So you'll hit calibrate to user, and this just guides you through the sequence. Now, what's going on through the headphones right now is that Lorna, again, our audio director, you'll hear her voice instructing the client to give a verbal instruction, verbal feedback to you. Oh, it's too loud. Oh, it's too quiet. So you'll get a sense of what this is like when you try it. But the purpose of this is just to make sure that the headphone volume is really nice for the client, that the microphone is working and comfortable. That if you're using vibroacoustics, that the vibroacoustic is at a comfortable level. And you see it waiting there. That's not a loading signal. That's just waiting to make sure that the voiceover doesn't get interrupted. So it's making sure the vibroacoustics are set. If you're having any trouble, you can hit the troubleshoot buttons here, and that will guide you through the various steps of what might be going wrong. It'll guide you through setting the light intensity. Now, something useful to know, lights that are too bright are the most frequent cause of anxiety in the SoundSelf experience. SoundSelf can be very relaxing and rejuvenating, or energizing and activating. And a big part of that is the volume and also the light intensity. All right, so we're fully calibrated and we're just going to get into the session now. Again, just waiting for Lorna to finish speaking so we're not interrupting her awkwardly. Makes for really nice, smooth audio experience. And now this tells you how long you have left in the session so that you can go take care of whatever you need to take care of. It'll tell you at the top here what stage you're in. You'll notice the background went dark to indicate we're entering an immersive part of the sequence. And then at the end, it's going to pop up with an indicator saying that the session is over, and a reminder to that, oh, it's really nice to come out of SoundSelf with a cup of tea. And so if you're not already doing that with your clients, I recommend it. It's really nice to come out of SoundSelf with a cup of tea, not being too verbally engaged, because you can be in this real glow of a non-verbal experience, of a deeply somatic experience. And so it's really nice to not have to feel verbally engaged and to have a cup of tea to keep you occupied and to soothe your throat. So that's the new look on SoundSelf. And when you're in dual stage, there's going to be another menu that pops up at the vitals check partway through. So there are a couple of other things as well. The software runs smoother. You can now power SoundSelf as well while running a session, no longer having to run sessions just on batteries. If you're curious about how to do that, it just needs a specific wall charger, and I'd be happy to get you one of those. Just reach out to me and I'll help you. The only thing is that this is a major update, major update to the software, and it might require a reinstallation from outside of the software. So normally you just do an update here, you check for updates, and then it will automatically update. But because this is such a major backend update that changes the backend as well, you might have to manually install it. You can do that. You see down here, when you get your tablet, there's this SoundSelf recovery folder, and inside is a SoundSelf recovery mini application. That's just used for updating SoundSelf from our server. So that's that. I promised you at the beginning I was going to give you a little sneak peek into sharing some of what's coming up. So happy to do that. One of the biggest features we've been asked for is a female vocalist, female voiceover guidance. So we're going to be having a female voice as an alternative for each of the different sessions, so that you can choose right at the beginning, do I want a male voice, do I want a female voice, depending on the preferences of the client. And another thing we have coming up, two things I'll share, and then I'll just leave it at that for now. Firstly, we're going to have about a 7-minute introductory sequence. This is great. Right now, I really recommend using one of those 40-minute Soda Flore sessions in order to get things kicked off for somebody who's not experienced SoundSelf before. But we're going to create a 7-minute sequence that's really just teaching the basics. So you can start with that and then move into whatever session that you like. The other thing is that I've been recording an ayahuasquero that we work with when we go into ceremony. Every time I go into ceremony with this Jaya, the male voice, the male vocalist. So he's a ceremonialist based in Guatemala, an ayahuasquero, very skilled at what he does. And he has some profound and beautiful teachings that often come through in ceremony. And I've been miking him for several years as I've been working with him. And the result of that is that we have a really beautiful collection of teachings and transmissions, just very beautiful teachings. And we're integrating those into longer SoundSelf sessions. So for people who want to go deeper and have are ready to receive a really beautiful teaching, we're going to have these wisdom sessions. They're going to be coming out soon. I'm really looking forward to them because I think they're especially beautiful. So thanks very much. As usual, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'm super happy to help. I want to see you being successful integrating this with your clients and your patients and everything. And also super happy to receive any requests for features and so on. And let me know how things are going. Thanks so much. Bye.